Welcome to UC Summit. My name is David Dungay. I'm here today with Pasquale Di Maio from Amazon Connect. Welcome to the show, Pasquale. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Excellent, excellent. Well, look, today we're going to be talking about CPaaS and in particular the Amazon Connect software. So before we get into that though, Pasquale, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the part of Amazon you're working in?
Absolutely. I'm the general manager for Amazon Connect here in AWS, and Amazon Connect is our cloud-based contact center. It's designed for businesses of all sizes to scale up and down, and it's powerful, easy to use, and it's built for people to be able to offer exceptional customer services for almost any type of business. So that gives a little background on what I'm doing here. It's one of the fastest growing services in the history of AWS, and we're incredibly excited about it here.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about some of that growth, particularly over the last 12 months. What does that look like in, I guess, the contact center space more broadly, and what were some of those challenges that you've had to face, and the industry have had to face over that sort of period?
Yeah, absolutely. The last 12 months have been a really challenging time for almost everybody, and certainly folks in the contact center have faced that. And I would say that one of the things we've seen is just a massive need for folks to be able to work from anywhere, be able to work in the comfort of their own home or maybe in new locations, and also to be able to do so at new scales and in new ways, because a lot of emergent needs have come up. And I think this time has been one that has been incredibly interesting for folks to think about how technology enables their agents and then their end customers in that sense. And so with Amazon Connect, we've actually seen a lot of folks using this tool because it is fully cloud-based. They can use it from everywhere. They just need a good internet connectivity and a good microphone and speaker, and they can offer great customer service. And the way Amazon Connect is designed, folks can use it really without having to think much about the technology. It sort of disappears for them and they really can focus on that customer. And so we've seen a ton of people who have started to use Amazon Connect to help move their agents home and to be able to offer great customer service no matter what that situation is. And in fact, we saw over 5,000 folks build new contact centers using Amazon Connect in the months of April and March, as a lot of folks suddenly had to help folks. The state of Rhode Island is a great example. In less than a week, they opened up a whole new contact center to help a lot of folks who are now needing to have unemployment assistance, which obviously is not something to be happy about, but we were incredibly proud to be able to help them move so quickly, because those folks were really folks in need, and that's something that you always want to be a part of the solution for.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that migration home. Just quickly. Obviously, the whole world was pretty much forced to go to remote working. I think operationally, like getting people home, it happened. We saw that. It might not have been pretty, but it happened. How geared up as a whole space was the contact center for that sudden movement?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Broadly in the industry, I would say folks had been slow to move to the cloud, maybe compared to other industries, and there could be lots of reasons for that. But I would say folks who are using Amazon Connect and our contact centers here at Amazon and a lot of our customers had already made quite a few moves to offer folks the ability to work remotely or work from home. And those folks were already well equipped for that. And for them, it may have accelerated some of those moves, but it largely was something they had been pretty prepared for. For a lot of new folks, it really was a big change in the mental model for how they wanted to approach their contact centers. And it is something where it's not just about, can I get folks home? It's got to be a great outcome for both those agents and those customers. And so those folks, I think, where a lot of them were surprised to discover how easy it could be. We had one company that actually came to us on a Thursday night at technically midnight Eastern time, and they said, we need to get set up for tomorrow by 9 a.m. And a couple of us had a cup of coffee here and said, hey, we can get that going. And that wasn't the perfect configuration for their long-term vision of how they wanted their contact center to work. But because Amazon Connect is so easy to set up and to get people going with, they actually got going and were taking calls by 8 a.m. the next morning. So they were an hour early, which was great. And then we worked with them to optimize that over the next month or so to get it to the point where they had created queued callbacks so they could call customers back during really heavy times that they hadn't been prepared for, which obviously folks were seeing a lot at that time. And also that, a bunch of other features that allowed them to integrate with all of their software, so they could really, again, make the technology recede and be focused on the experience for the for their end customers. And so that was a great outcome that folks didn't know was even possible, I think, before tools like Amazon Connect existed.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I mean, I think as an industry, we seem to be in this sort of optimization period as people look at those, as you say, those longer term strategies. Let's talk a little bit about CPaaS in the climate today. We're in January 2021. What does that CPaaS market look like, and how is it driving value today in the amidst this the climate we're in?
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about it is that customer service has become more and more important, and whether that's your citizens, whether that is your customers, whether that's a business-to-business interaction, a business-to-customer, or a business or a government-to-citizen interaction, folks are really come to expect and desire, and also really value that interaction, and having that be something that is something that is powerful for them, feels good, and achieves the goals they have, gets their problem solved, maybe helps them do something, maybe makes a sale, maybe signs them up for a program they need to be set up for. The outcomes for the customer are what we really care about, and we are focused entirely at Amazon and with Amazon Connect on driving great end customer outcomes. And so that mindset is really the beginning, and then do the tools enable that? And so one of the big things we're seeing with this is the ability to operate everywhere is great, but if you aren't delivering amazing customer service, you're not going to succeed. And we're building our tools to be fast and easy to use, but also very easy to use with the other tools you have. So we have great partnerships with CRMs. We have great like Salesforce or Zendesk. We have really good setups with a lot of our customers who have built their own tools for customer service. And then, of course, a lot of folks have a mixture of all those things. They have to work great together. Connect is incredibly easy to integrate those solutions. And then again, give that great agent experience, which results in a great customer experience. Additionally, we keep bringing new tools out, and in the last month or so at reInvent, you may have seen we launched 5 new services related to Amazon Connect. The first one was voice biometric services called Amazon Connect Voice ID, and that allows folks to actually passively identify folks using their speech patterns and tones, and then that saves a lot of time for the agent. Removes a lot of the annoying questions that folks are used to, like your mother's maiden name or the last 4 digits of your social security number, because all of this is passive. The customer doesn't even have to say a passphrase or catchphrase. Once the customer is enrolled, and they can choose to opt in or opt out, of course, the customer can then be identified, which is a huge win. It really improves the speed for the agent and the speed for the customer, and removes those annoying experiences. Similarly, we've launched some other really cool features. We launched Contact Lens real time, which now allows contact center managers to analyze all of their phone calls in real time while the customer is talking to the agent, and they can get that feedback and use that feedback to act in real time. It also can detect if agents have said the right things to the customer, things they may have to say for legal reasons or regulatory reasons. It can also detect anomalies, and it uses natural language understanding, and you'll hear me talk about that quite a bit during this call, because it's a huge area where we think that not just being able to recognize speech, but being able to understand the customer's goals and their aims and their intents is incredibly important. And the term "I want to buy a bike" or "I'd like to purchase a bicycle" mean the same thing to you or me, but they might not mean the same thing to a computer without a lot of work historically. The work we're doing here is that we can actually take that and understand that and 10 other ways to say that same thing, and then use that information to help the agent, use that information to help the manager. And so that is another important launch we had, was the Contact Lens real time. Really exciting for us. Another one was Wisdom, which is Amazon Connect Wisdom actually allows us to provide agents with information across their enterprise. So it takes all that information that's wrapped up in different knowledge bases, and they can bring that together and allows the agent to see that in one place. They can rate the quality of the answers they got. And combined with the Contact Lens real time, we can actually detect the intents from the customer. So instead of the agent even having to type in a query, we can actually pull that information out from the call while it's happening and give that agent that information, and then they can use that to help the customer. And you'll see a pattern here where we're constantly trying to be reactive to the customer's behaviors and the customer's needs before the agent even needs to think about them. They can then focus on the customer and really that deep understanding, and it becomes a tool where it helps them as opposed to a tool where they are trying to use it. It's a tool that's helping them without them having to think about the technology at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a few more I can run through if you're open to it, but yeah, I think it'll give
Well,
you a good indication of some of these things. But if you want, we can come back to some of them in a little bit.
yeah, I wanted to pick up on that. I mean, obviously
Hmm.
today it's a big topic of conversation in the contact center. You know, what are those agents? What are those roles going to look like, and how does that live alongside the technology we've got? You know, one of those
Hmm.
artificial intelligence, a huge growth area in the contact center. You know, I'd really like to understand. You know, how has that become the major area of
Hmm.
differentiation? You mentioned all the data points there that you're throwing into these agents. How are you bringing that story together?
Absolutely, and I think for many industries it is the major differentiation, and some it's just an important one. But there's none where it doesn't matter. We see the agents as being really key for the types of issues where a human being really helps improve the experience. And for example, we talked a little bit about the voice ID work, but having an agent ask a customer for their mother's maiden name is not a useful time spent for anybody involved in that, and it annoys the customer. So removing that, now what can an agent do? Well, they can have a really empathetic conversation. They can understand a complex problem. They can look back over your history. They can hear and think through what really is going to be game changing for that customer, and then apply that to the situation. Of course, that isn't always easy because the technologies that we've had have been disjoint. Folks alt tabbing between different applications to try and understand the customer and then also trying to understand the problem. And so I mentioned the wisdom, which helps understand the problem. We also have released another program called Customer Profiles, and these customer profiles allow us to actually pull together the information from lots of different services and programs throughout the enterprise around the customer. So again, the agent is empowered, and so it can take information again from Salesforce or Zendesk or homegrown tools or even an Amazon database and pull that information about that customer in, and then they understand who they're talking to. And so instead of trying to ask you or fumbling around, and I'm sure you've called in and heard the person typing, or you've heard them alt tabbing and they sound distracted. It's a painful experience and it's not fun. We want to get that out of the way. So again, the agent is more efficient. And actually, efficient agents are happy agents, and happy agents often result in happier customers. So it all comes back to the end customer in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned happy agents there. You know, we normally term that under employee experience, and there's a huge trend in contact center as well.
Mhm.
Where do you see that in the list of priorities for businesses going forward? You know, looking after their agents so they
Mhm.
can deliver that experience.
Yeah, you're right on. The agents have to be engaged, and they have to be, feeling empowered to be really successful. And empowerment it means a lot of different things, but one of the core things it means is not struggling or having challenges just with the technology and moving around. And so we're always trying to make that as friction free as possible for the agents, and also remove a lot of the work for them that is painful. And I'll give you another example, which is obviously chats, calls are really important aspects of an agent's experience. All day long they're talking to customers. We want them to be focused on that, but there's a lot of work inside the contact center that goes beyond just chats and calls. And a lot of times, if you've ever walked through a contact center, and I've walked through literally hundreds of them, I've taken hundreds of calls, thousands of calls with and with them or on my own to make sure that we really understand what that experience is like. And the thing that we've seen is like post-it notes all over desks. The challenges of trying to remember things they have to do, and obviously the best agents get really good at that, but they can never be as good as they could be if we help remove some of those challenges. And so another feature of Connect we offer is tasks, and tasks actually take up virtually any type of work item you have in the contact center and allow you to manage, track, and route those to agents just like you would a chat or a phone call. And for the agent, that means that they don't have to try and remember the thing they wrote on that, jotted down on that post-it note, or that they have 3 follow-ups during the call. They can simply create a task. That task can be routed to them or someone else later on. They can do it. This lets the managers also see what their agents are spending time with. A lot of times folks, have to kind of guess at that. And you don't want to be doing that. You want to know your agents are spending their time helping customers. And you can see, oh, well, we spent 50% of our time today on this sort of, menial task that we don't want to do over and over again. Could we automate that? Could we make it easier for the agent? Could we make a work stream for the agent that's really simplifies that for them? And then you can invest in making those agents' experiences better. It's always a partnership between the technology and the human beings, and that's really what these tools are about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we've covered a lot of technology in just the
Yes.
last 12 minutes or so. And we looking ahead, 2021
Mhm.
looks like we're going to be in the current situation for maybe a little bit longer.
Mhm.
From a technology point of view, what are the big disruptors this year in terms of a contact center space? Where are we going to see that disruption coming from?
I think we're going to continue to see a few things that are really important from a technology standpoint. One is going to be scalability, and its ability to scale up, but also the ability to scale up and down. You want a service that can do that at a moment's notice, because we've seen in 2020, I think one thing is that we can't predict things. We're going to have challenges that are going to be surprises, and being able to manage those quickly, effectively, helping your agents be as effective as possible, working at home, working other places, those are all going to be really key aspects of it. Another key technology area where we're investing really heavily here and believe will be disruptive, both now, immediately, and long term, is artificial intelligence. And in some cases, that's sorry, I think I just lost my lighting in the room. There's some artificial intelligence for you. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. So the room was smart enough to know that I didn't need to use that electricity. But and actually, that's a great example of an area where we want to be intelligent in the way we apply this technology. You want your technology to be helping people and getting out of their way. And the artificial intelligence that we work on here can't just be interesting from a cool science standpoint. I see, one of my colleagues frequently says, "Oh, people will come to you and say, 'Oh, you got a problem? We'll just rub some AI on it. That'll take care of it.'" And it doesn't work that way. It has to have real world implications. And so we focus every one of our investments in this space on delivering real results that matter to a customer, can be measured to a customer, to their end customers, and then you can see if they improve things. And we've designed our entire system. It's all pay as you go. So the point there is that unless it's working, you don't keep using it and you don't pay for it. And so we have to make sure this has real world implications. And the contact center is an area where artificial intelligence has clear and obvious real world implications that can help agents, can help end customers. And that's incredibly exciting for, I think, us as technologists who care a lot about people. The last thing I'll say is, and this is getting away from technology a little bit, but empathy, and I think we hopefully have learned some of this in 2020, empathy is just becoming such a core aspect of how we think about anything we do with other human beings, and technology has to be an enabler for that. So is your technology making it easy for folks to focus on the human beings who are on the other side of the phone call, on the other side of the chat? Are you really able to be engaged with them in a meaningful way? And if the answer is yes, then I think you've chosen the right technology. And that's really going to be a key. And so all of our investments are around these areas where we enabling people to just be the best they can be. In challenging times, that makes you even have to care about it even more, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Pasquale, you mentioned some of your launches at your event in December,
Yep.
AWS reInvent. That's great. If you are interested in finding out a little bit more about that event, you can do so on the UC Today website. There's a whole list of launches from that time. So, but I would like to talk a little bit about what's coming up.
Hmm.
Technology seems to be evolving at a crazy rate right now. To solve some of these issues you're talking about. What can we expect from Connect this year?
Absolutely. We release stuff. We release constantly. It's a continual process here at Amazon Connect. We tend to do some big releases that are exciting. I named a few of the things that were recent, and we'll continue to have some big surprises like that. But it's a constant refinement also, where we're doing small changes, incremental improvements, adding new phone numbers, lowering prices, driving new features to integrate better with third-party software, enabling customers to use our stuff, and you'll see those changes all year long. And beyond that, we've accelerated our launches every year since we launched Amazon Connect, and we keep bringing new things out. The big ones I think you'll see are really directionally coming off of the stuff we've seen now, which is how can we really integrate all these pieces together to make them seamless? How do we take our voice ID and technology to make that better and smoother and easier? How do we plug that into an experience with wisdom, where now we say, okay, we understand that the customer is who they are. We can pull the information from Wisdom to help with their problem. We can pull the information from Customer ID to help understand who the customer is. We can combine all of that and then help the agent see that, and then move and act really quickly, efficiently, and also as a human being, which, those three things can go hand in hand. And so bringing all those technologies with our customers together are going to be really core to that for the next year. And you'll just continue to see a stream of innovation from us there that allow folks to, again, focus on the customer, scale up and down based on their needs, and deliver great outcomes. And so that's really our big focus point for this year. There'll be a few surprises too. No, don't worry.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, look, Pasquale, it's been great to chat to you today. I wish you all the best for the rest of your 2021.
Oh, thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you. Looking forward to doing it again.
Excellent. Okay. And thank you for watching. You've been watching me, David Dungay, on UC Summit. I'll see you next time.